Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe to Love, here with another edition of Sports Overview Topics, episode 137, here in the channel. It is Super Bowl week, but got much more than that to go over today in the episode. We got some new coaching hires in the NFL to go over. UFC 284 is on Saturday as well. Couple good title fights to talk about there, or one title fight and one interim title fight there, but nonetheless, some good fights to go over for the weekend. But first, before, also want to talk about AJ Green, as he called it quits. But first, I gotta go over, because basketball seems to be the headline for this episode with what's been going on. I might as well go over this one first, but so, LeBron James. It's been a while since I've talked about the King James, but alas, he has made history as he has broken Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record for all-time scoring in the NBA, and now LeBron James sits atop that list as number uno, as last night versus the Oklahoma City Thunder, he broke that record with a 38-pointer and thus was, in despite defeat, still created history. And, LeBron obviously has his fans and his critics. LeBron has done it for so many years, since being first drafted in 03, and 20 years in the game, 4 NBA titles, multiple multiple MVPs, rather should say, has been at the top of the list, is the GOAT to some, but, this just adds to his very long resume and his first ballot Hall of Fame career, when he finally decides to call it quits. But LeBron got it done, and hats off to him. So, keep it going at his late 30s. Not sure how long he'll keep it up, but this just another feather in his cap. And cool to see him. Cheers to him. Oops. Now, to pivot from LeBron to one of his former teammates, Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving, who seemingly has always had a weird way of finding the news. But now in the headlines again. So it was noted that the other day, Kyrie Irving, well, first of all, last week, he said he wanted to make Brooklyn his home. And then the other day, news come out that Kyrie requests a trade out of Brooklyn. And just very early after, who's going to trade for Kyrie? You kind of thought, okay, either it's probably going to be the Lakers or, it's going to be kind of a desperate contender. And the Mavericks, yes, a contender. Desperate, I don't think so, but this is a unique move. They traded Dorian Finney-Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie, two guys that I think are very good in their role. To Brooklyn. Excuse me. But Kyrie. Now, the curious question is, because, look, Luka, we know, is fantastic. Kyrie, we know, on the court, he is one of the best. Off the court, he's been kind of a headache as far as the news and the headlines are concerned. With just how everything he puts out. It just is. Whether you agree with it or not. But nonetheless, Kyrie and Luka, can it work? Yes. Now, this is not like a long-term thing in Dallas. This is okay. We know Luka is in his window, is in his prime. Last year, with the help of Joe Brunson, and Dinwiddie did his part, and Finney-Smith, but mostly Luka and that team got to the Western Conference Finals, embarrassed the Suns in Game 7, advancing to face the Warriors in the Conference Finals. This is a push the offense, more juice, more of a hump, because the West, as much as I love the Nuggets and think that a healthy Denver Nuggets team is my shoo-in for the finals or my favorites. There is that asterisk of being healthy. I mean, there's a lot of questions in the Western Conference this year. The Warriors have not looked like themselves. The Lakers have not looked like themselves. The Suns are still good, but they don't look quite the same. The Kings have been a pleasant surprise this season. I mean, the Jazz. The Timberwolves, you got some. Pretty much the only consistently. Well, the only, I guess. The only good teams, really, it seems, consistently in the West this year are Denver, Memphis, and the Kings. Besides that, you got some inconsistency in the West. I mean, yes, I'll give Portland love as well, but I mean, if Kyrie can. The other thing is, how will they coexist? Because we know both are ball hogs, and we both know want the ball, and both are outfits in their own ways. So, if both can ease their time, if Kyrie can take time off of Luka, and they can still score very well when Luka is not on the court, then that's going to contribute to some wins and build more confidence for this team. So, in the short run, and Kyrie can do well, then we'll see. But long run, I'm not so sure. Now let's go over some of these some interesting coaching hires in the NFL. First, I don't think any get bigger than quite this as Brian Flores, the former Miami Dolphins head coach, the former defensive assistant for the Patriots, and last year he was a defensive assistant for the Steelers, is now the defense coordinator in Minnesota for the Vikings. Much needed upgrade for the Vikings. Much needed. Now, with the way it was going, there were two candidates for the Vikings for defense coordinator. Ejiro Evero, who wound up taking the DC job in Carolina, and Flores. Both were obviously going to be upgrades over Ed Donatil last year. And ultimately, while Evero helped have the Broncos doing very well last season on defense, pretty much the Vikings went for the better choice, I feel. And, with Flores, the Vikings are going to be aggressive, but it's going to be an upgrade because what was we know their Achilles heel, what ultimately doomed them in the playoffs. Defense, Brian Flores, going to take a next step for the Vikings, so see how it does. And I just mentioned his name, but we might as well go over as well. Ejiro Evero took the job for the Carolina Panthers and will now be Frank Reich's defense coordinator in Carolina. Some nice moves so far as coaching for the Panthers. Frank Reich as head coach, and now Evero defense coordinator. I know many people are disappointed that, first of all, they obviously went with Reich over Wilkes, but hiring Evero should help clear it up because we know how talented that Broncos defense was last year, and Carolina's defense has some good pieces as well. With Brian Burns is one of the best pass rushers in the league. Pro Bowl selection in his own right. Gross Matos also inside. Derek Brown got some big beefy guys. J.C. Horn, etc. Got some good pieces for them to work with. And then Steve Wilkes goes to San Fran and is now the defense coordinator for the 49ers. So he takes over for DeMeco Ryans. Interesting enough. Some very good pieces in San Fran. Now, I worry that defense is probably going to take a step back. Because I don't know how you can get better than DeMeco Ryans had them. Obviously, against the Eagles, they unfolded because pretty much dam broke with no quarterback. But, see how Steve Wilkes does. Good for him. He wasn't unemployed for long. This next move, now I must say, was a bit of a head scratcher. Joe Woods, the former defense coordinator of the Browns, who got let go, and he was brought over from the Niners coaching staff under Robert Saleh to take over for the Browns. And, he did have a nice first year. But lately, it's been really up and down. So, the Browns let him go, hired Jim Schwartz. Definitely an upgrade. And then the Saints hired Joe Woods as their defense coordinator. Now, Dennis Allen, we know, calls the shots with defense in New Orleans, and we know he's going to stay for at least another year as head coach. But I guess because we know the bread and butter, it seems really now, is the defense in New Orleans. Until they can figure out their quarterback situation, which may or may not be Derek Carr. We know their strength lies with defense, so adding them mine in with Dennis Allen, I don't mind too much. AJ Green. So it sucks. It sucks. So JJ Watt retired. Hopefully he comes back. But Tom Brady has now officially called it quits. Now AJ Green. Two of my favorite players. Or three of my favorite players ever watching play the game. Now in 2023, I've called it quits. Now, this is different from Brady and JJ. Because JJ's retirement out of all these three were the most surprising. Because judging from what I saw JJ go through this past season showed me that he could still get it done. And still could play at a pretty good level. AJ Green's doesn't surprise me as much because look, his connection with Andy Dalton was one of the best I've seen really ever. Just how those guys were on the money, for so many years. And, yes, it didn't contribute to playoff success. But, before Joe Burrow, there was the Andy Dalton, AJ Green, connection on offense that really sparked a plug in the AFC North behind the Steelers and the Ravens. And they didn't get past that playoff hump that the Bengals have since had no problem getting. It's unfortunate. Andy Dalton, AJ Green, 0 playoff wins. Joe Burrow and the Bengals since then have won. Yeah, they have 4. They beat the Ravens, so 5 playoff wins in the last 2 years, 2 seasons. So, but yeah, credit to AJ Green. he was really Mr. 1,000 yards before Mike Evans, and then injuries, the team wasn't quite the same. They went to Arizona the last couple of years and has had a decent role on the team, but not quite the production he used to have in Cincinnati. So, but yeah, just unfortunate. But kudos to AJ Green for hell of a career and some of my favorite plays ever. That's the other thing. Some of those Hail Marys from Andy Dalton, AJ Green, very tremendous. Very tremendous. Yeah, that's something. So, UFC 284. Fights happen Saturday, guaranteed before the Super Bowl. As we got headliner and the UFC lightweight division. Islam Makhachev making his first defense, going up against featherweight champion, moving up, Alexander the Great Volkanovski. This is a unique fight. Very unique. Now, I hate it because I hate it for this sense. I'm not a big fan of new champions in their first fight facing a guy that's moving up. His first defense is not in his own division. But I mean, for Volkanovski, he's done very much in this division. Very much. I mean, he is. I mean, look at his resume. I mean, credit all those resumes huge, but you look at Volkanovski's and it's very damn good. I mean, he's beaten Aldo, he's beaten Ortega, he beat Max Holloway not once, not twice, but 3 times. You can debate if he lost one or 2 of them. Either way, he's beaten them 3 times. I mean, he's beaten the Korean Zombie. I mean, he's beaten. Just very much guys. I mean, Darren Elkins, he's beaten a who's who at the top of his list. And, I mean, Chad Mendes, the list goes on. But, yeah, Volkanovski hasn't lost in the UFC. He is one not to take lightly. And I don't think Makhachev will do that. That's for certain. Makhachev, I mean, the way he got into a title fight was definitely unique. Because you can't discount his ability. But as far as the guys he's fought and credit. He's gotten many wins, and that's the weird thing about the fight game, is sometimes guys don't want to fight you, or sometimes you just can't get the fights lined up right. Nonetheless, in his top fight with Charles Oliveira, he certainly passed and certainly got it done. And Oliveira going into that fight was flying on momentum. But he made Oliveira tap, and credit to him. So it's unique. We have not seen Volkanovski really on the ground much in the UFC. But we know he has power. We know he has complexity as far as striking. He's a gamer, and we know Islam is as well. So, I still have to see. I mean, I'm going Volkanovski, but Islam, if he can prove me wrong and make his first defense, then certainly credit to him. The co-headliner is definitely a fun one as well to mention. Now, this was made as an interim top fight. I mean, pretty much just in case Volkanovski wins the main event, because, if Volkanovski wins, he's a double champion, and then who knows what he does. But if he loses, then you got a fight to make. But nonetheless, Yair Rodriguez versus Josh Emmett. I mean, this is a styles clash, to say the least. But Emmett, we know, is physical. We know he has that one-punch knockout power. Yair is a sizzling striker. I mean, he's been captivating in ways. His elbow knockout of Korean Zombie is certainly one for the ages. In the way that fight ended. How he finished Ortega in his last fight, that was almost a thing of beauty. I mean, Emmett's, he's not going to shy away from this fight. He's going to go at him, and this is, a styles clash, but fun to say. An interim top, for a while, you were worried that Yair might not even fight anymore at this weight class. He had injuries, he was losing. People worried about, he could fulfill his potential. Well, with the win over Josh Emmett, he'll be an interim champion and be a step closer to be a undisputed champion. So I gotta go with Yair, but Emmett, he can strike when needed, and it's scary picking against him, that's for sure. That's for sure. Now, I wouldn't leave this episode without talking about the certain game. The last game of the NFL season for many, many months. Super Bowl 57. Excuse me. Super Bowl 57 Phoenix. Last two Super Bowls were home Super Bowls for certain participants. 2 years ago, Tampa Bay Buccaneers got to play in Raymond James Stadium. Last year, the Rams got to play in SoFi. The Cardinals will not be playing in State Farm Arena, so it's once again back to a neutral site game. Back to a neutral site game this year, as we got the Chiefs and the Eagles, both 1 seeds from this year. You know, last year we had 2 4 seeds. This year we had the 1 seeds, so the favorites, no surprise. Now, both have had, I think we can both say, unique roads to get here. You know, let's start with the Eagles. The Eagles, you know, start off 8-0. It was kind of chippy, but they rode the wave, 8-0. Then they hit their division rival, the Commanders, who out-physicaled them, you know, ran not all over them, but certainly enough. And Heineke made plays, and they got the first loss. And then what did they do right after? They signed Ndamukong Suh, and they signed Linval Joseph to shore up that problem. And for the most part, it solved it. Now, they lost to the Saints, which was a big doo-doo. And they lost in a great fashion to the Cowboys, which, that was a close game. That was a fun one. Without, and you know, Jalen Hurts, you know, suffered a shoulder injury. Lane Johnson, where he might be out for the playoffs. Both have returned. Both have excelled, both against the Giants and against the 49ers. You know, it's going to be a real question because, I mean, look, the Eagles on paper are the better team. Just across the roster, the better team. The only question you really have is that, you know, 30 plus points against both the Giants the 49ers. And both offenses, now, the Giants were healthy, and the sense that the team that faced the Vikings was there versus the Eagles. And 49ers obviously was different with the quarterback situation. But that defense relatively had no adversity their first two playoff games. So you just wonder, how will their battle against adversity against the Chiefs is the only question. Now, and I was even worried that the Eagles were going to lose the division to the Cowboys, but they held on versus the Giants, and yeah. Now let's look at Chiefs' road to the Super Bowl. It was a weird scene for the Chiefs in this year, because there was a sense when they were under 500, but they continued to get it done. Or that was last season, but nonetheless, they faced their adversity as well. Some were questioning, the offense, doesn't look as good or as explosive without Tyreek Hill. The game for the 49ers really showed it for me for the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, really impressed me, I think, mostly this season. Simply because, yes, he has Kelsey, but you look at the players he has across the board besides him, and he had over 5,000 yards for the second time in his career passing, and the defense has played monetary well. L'Jarius Sneed, Juan Thornhill, Chris Jones up the middle, Will Gay Jr. I mean, you got some studs still there in the middle. But, yeah, now, they were doing well, and yes, they lost at times to the Bills and against the Bengals, who both eliminated. And looking back at, they did reap the rewards of that canceled game between the Bengals and the Bills. Credit to them. Because it allowed them to just win against the Raiders, and they got the 1 seed. And they've not shied away since. So, they had obviously adversity first the Jaguars. As soon as I heard about Mahomes' injury, I thought, we're going to get a Jaguars upset here. And it was one possession, but it seemed like the Jaguars took their foot off the gas when Mahomes got injured. And sounds weird, but true. And the team stayed in it. I mean, Mahomes got it done. And yeah. Against the Bengals, it was a tough fought game. Now, credit the inconsistency of the play calling is what people remember most. But at the end of the day, Chiefs got it done and pulled away 23-20. So, good on them. Now, offensively, their offensive line is young, very good. Not as good as the Eagles, but very good. Weapons, Travis Kelce, Valdez Scantling found a nice role. Juju, Mecole Hardman probably will not play, but they're going to find ways. And Jared McKinnon, Isaiah Pacheco, those two I thoroughly enjoy coming out of the backfield. And those two are very good 1-2 punch, I say, for the Chiefs this season. Better quarterback, Patrick Mahomes over Jalen Hurts. Better team, the Eagles. The Eagles, you just gotta look. Better weapons, better offensive line, better defense line, better defense. Chiefs have the better quarterback, but I mean, this may be ugly. Sounds weird, but it may be an ugly game. It's like it may turn to Super Bowl 48. When the Seahawks face the Broncos and Peyton Manning. May turn out to that. Or you can get a fun, close one. Who knows? But nonetheless, I gotta go with Philly in this one. I mean, this kind of reminds me as well of the Chiefs 49ers Super Bowl from a few years back. But, I don't have that quite feeling about the Chiefs offense as I did for that game. Plus, I think if the going gets tough, perhaps Jalen Hurts makes a play that Jimmy G failed to do in that Super Bowl. But, yeah, going with the Eagles. If I had predict a score, probably 27-17. 27-17. If I had to guess. We'll see. But anyways, that's all I have for the podcast today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, click that like button. Leave a thumbs up. Help with the video, help with the channel. Also, click the subscription there in the corner. Click on AJO2 and Love. Find all the videos on the channel. But yeah, like, subscribe. Adios. And also comment if you have any suggestions as well. So, thank you all. Be safe. I'm Rachel. Tone love. Getting out of here. See you guys next week. Peace.